Right, well, hello ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dean Wayland, for those of you who don't know. We represent an organisation called the Fightschool. Basically, what we are is a body of people who teach a fighting sport, which unfortunately bears my name, courtesy of Mary, because I basically spent 10 years trying to invent it, because I was involved with historical reenactment. I saw an awful lot of accidents and thought there had to be a better way. I was politely told, no, there isn't. Bull. I was often invent 7 years for me to invent it, 3 years to learn to teach it, and I've been running the Fightschool ever since. And this is Mr. Goff and a lot of my students. And they're usually better than I am for those of you who've seen this show before. I tend to train them. When they start killing me, I know I've done my job right. As long as they do it correctly. Right, okay, well, introductions. Okay, Mary, come over here. Mary Gentle, who will die for your pleasure. Known to me as Jasper, but the rest of you may know as Geoffrey Hedger. We'll all get that. Marion Pittman, come on Marion over here as well. Who will probably die for your pleasure. She's good enough, she's an expert. Right, and as well as you all know, so am I. Okay, introduction's over. What we're going to do first of all is I'm just going to explain basically what we do, and then you're going to watch it. Because the first thing I need to say is, unlike conventional reenactment combat, what we're doing is a sport. The costumes are purely for our own entertainment, basically because having got a number of students who don't belong to historical societies, we decided to do something for ourselves and have some fun with it. It's a wonderful skill that we learn. And we decided to do something that nobody else has done, which is the Four Musketeers meets Shogun. All you need to know about the mentality of it. So for us, we don't do public shows running around like this as a rule. We've done one this year as a thank you to a National Trust property who let us rummage around their arms collection. Put my teeth in. An arms collection. Arms and armour. Oh my God, I'm lingering. That's my problem. There's no beer today. And consequently, that's the only public show that we've done, apart from things like Armadacon. Okay, never mind that. Okay.
Saying no,
are you? What you will see is actual combat. The nearest thing you'll get to people trying to kill each other without the blood. Trust in the Almighty, or indeed you are, take a side bet on the other side. So it's not going to. It is a doer's activity. It's not a watcher's activity. So when you're watching it, bear that in mind. That the fighters in question suffer what's known as the warrior's paradox. I want to win. I want to survive. I want to win. I want to survive. Oh, shit. Oh God, I'm alive. Or alternatively, oh God, I'm dead. So you will see, instead of going bash, 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 it will be, for those of you who've seen Rob Roy, so who here's seen Rob Roy? Oh my God. Watch it. The fight at the end is the best fight I've ever seen on a screen. It actually made me and Mary sit up and go, oh, these people are doing it correctly. It was a real fight at the end. Right at the end, the last duel. Don't miss it. Well worth it. Right. Well, that's enough of me. I think Geoffrey should attempt to kill Mary. Anybody in agreement? Yeah. Right. I shall get out of the way.
I think Mary should defend herself.
Choose your weapon. Single sword, sword, sword. So, right, okay. Yeah, while we're doing right. And what they're going to be arming themselves with, Mary's going to use a sword and dagger, and Jasper is arming himself with a sword and buckler. Now, just a brief thing. The costume and equipment that we're using is a bit of a mix, but broadly speaking, it is 16th century, although there are one or two bits that aren't. Quick, we have Mary. Come forward, Mary. So, can everybody see? Everybody see? Everybody not see? Right, starting at the top. The helmet Mary's wearing is circa 1500. It's a German-style sort of sallet. Very popular throughout the 15th century. It goes out of fashion in the 16th. Mainly because nasty people with big guns keep blowing people's heads off. Right. The body armour This is early to mid 16th century. This is actually being made specifically for this campaign that we're doing. It's a single piece breastplate with movable gusset. Quite an innovation in shooting your arms. Clever stuff. Right, the doublet she's wearing is a 15th century doublet. We won't mention that too much. Do you believe her?
It was her father's.
Right. On her legs she's wearing breeches, which are circa 1600. Hose, same period. The small garters for the holding up of one's closing on breeches. And the combat boots. We won't go into. She does have, where are they? Actually, this is the nice touch. There's a company that actually makes really good quality period shoes. People handle them with care and pass those round. Have a look at those. Made by a guy called John Jenkins. Very good. Bloody expensive. Yep.
The reason I'm not wearing them is, like most period shoes, they have absolutely no tread.
This is
So while it might be amusing to see me fall over and skew a jet with the sword, I'd better not.
Right. The sword is of a type that was in use from about the middle of the 13th century right through to the end of the 16th. Although by the time you get into the 16th, the rapier format was more common. Her own rapier, alas, isn't here because it's under repair with the, well, going to repair back with the sword maker. It went ding, and this little piece of metal work said, hello, I'm not cooperating anymore. Consequently, she's using one of the school swords. In her left hand, she bears a dagger. This is a left-hand dagger. It's specifically used designed for use with a sword as a companion weapon. It has a side ring to protect the hand. This is circa 1600 in style, so it's bang on for the period. As you can see, it's enormous. They did, in fact, get bigger. This is a medium size one, believe it or not. Right, that's enough of her. Let's go. Right, I'm just going to point out what he's going to do. Right, as you can see, she's a scribbly little peasant who's acquired some goodies on the battlefield. This is a pretentious gentleman. Trying. Yes, trying. Absolutely trying. Unfortunately, his breeches let him down because they are uncommon sailor's breeches. However, he's got nice hose. We'll ignore the shoes. He hasn't had them around. He has a nice shirt. And this is a 16th century ruff. It is, isn't it? Right. Okay. Wonderful things. When you get a lot of people wearing them, they don't. We all thought they would look dreadfully silly. When you get a lot of people wearing them, they do actually look pretty cool after a while. Okay. The sword is the same as Mary's. However, this Italian-style buckler, small left-handed shield, 1570. Copy of one in the Wallace, no correction, based on one in the Wallace. Very nice. Weighs about 3 pounds. Solid steel. Well, you must kill each other then. Okay, remember what you're watching. Okay, you guys just carry on, I'll just talk over it. What you're watching isn't a staged fight. Both parties are desperately trying to win. They will deceive each other. Every attack has a purpose. It's not merely just banging swords. They are looking for openings. They're jockeying for footing. They are working within a very tight set of rules. Now, you might think that those types of rules are very artificial. However, if you look at the combat manuals of the 16th century, our forebears were taught to operate in precisely the same way. All we've done is change the principal objective of the activity. We don't want to kill it. All we want to do is score points. So the primary targets of our forebears are things like the skull, the joints, things like the arteries are off limits. We go for the soft tissue, and that's some of the soft tissue has gone. Where you got it, Jasper? Right. The scoring system, for those of you who want to know, is if you take a wound in a limb, you lose the function of the limb. I.e., he's got not so much hop, because he can't use it effectively. He's lost a series of his attacks, which means that for Mary, he's now an easier target. What doesn't help is Mary's wearing body armour. Now, she's wearing a helmet. Jasper isn't actually allowed to strike her on the head at all. She's wearing that purely for effective personal safety. And for the looks good. However, the body armour, the breastplate that she's wearing, actually gives her an advantage.
just lost my left leg as well, Dean.
He's now technically what's referred to as getting to the very keen to the Okay, just so you know, there's a whole range of different strokes. There are a whole range of different stroke forms. It's like playing speed chess. All the moves are set, all the defences, all the attacks. You know every single option. However, it's the speed and the dynamics of which ones you bloody well mix with which determines who the team loses. I should now proceed to conclude. Right. The salad that's going around at the moment is made by a guy called Dave Hewitt. It was bought second-hand. Mary just fell in love with it. The way that one does with armour, so people become armour junkies. It's quite an old piece, so in terms of its design, it is not as good as the salad that Mary's wearing and will not protect over it with clutches. Maybe later. It was inexpensive, but very nice. However, decent helmets cost an arm and a leg. Now you may notice that Mary's breastplate is very, very pretty. Our style of fighting doesn't involve panel beating each other's armour into the dirt. We assume that all combat is against unarmoured individuals. So the advantage then lies in that you can afford to justify spending large quantities of money on expensive armour. For those societies who are using simpler systems of fighting, which are easier to learn, and like Scandal yesterday, they look great for the young initiators who aren't interested in the sport, just a good show. It's not worth their time and effort in investing in vast quantities of expensive armour. Because it just gets trashed. They know that, and that's fine, great. For what they do, perfect. Something like that would be a complete waste of time, waste of their money, because you get wrecked and they'd be forever taking it back and getting it fixed. They might ask them extent. For us, it's a soft contact system, so not so much damage. However, the downside of that is an awful lot of training. However, meanwhile, I think somebody's lining up to kill me.
We're going to do a kind of tavern brawl and call out the tavern coming in.
Ooh, I'm going to watch this one.
Unless you want to join in.
No. You watch. This means I can wear them out to sea. Right, okay. You're in. It's Elizabethan England. That's all right, kids. And somewhere out there is Kit Marlowe having his back stabbed. And inside the bar, somebody's disagreeing about it. So they've pulled their daggers and they're going to set to. Meanwhile, the place clears, we've all seen the John Wayne movies. 16th century version, off you go. The dagger, when it's used by itself, is very, very quick. The leading limb, that's the weapon, that's the arm holding the weapon, becomes extremely exposed. Consequently, you tend to get cuts to the forearm. Now, that area is known as a secondary target. Want to take a hit? And consequently, it takes special care in its attack because of the bones and things like that. So it takes special care on it. However, this is good for reactions. Or finding out that you can gossip. Now you'll notice that when they attack, they aren't attacking the weapon, they are attacking each other. The weapon's getting in the way, but the other person deliberately putting it in the way to stop it from being skewered. Also notice they're not stabbing, they are cutting. You cannot safely stab with a weapon in a competitive fight. Plenty of societies try, and a number of people have come to very sticky ends. In fact, they've been at least one fatality using that particular technique, and we don't. Everything is done on a cut. However, don't think of it as a substitute, think of it as an analogue of real techniques. So, harmless, but almost. Didn't get off. Now, I think that might be it. Right, round of applause for Chapter 3. Take this in, Carol. I'll carry on. Okay, so having talked a bit about costume, I'm just going to mention what I'm actually wearing. Can you see? Right, I can't. Right, I am dressed as a 16th century, what we would have called a Ronin. A Ronin was a samurai who basically had fallen on bad times, i.e. not in service. The word samurai means, is derived from a verb meaning to serve. Now, when a samurai found himself in deep doo-doo and was no longer in service, and he found himself out on the streets, often they could only make their money, they survived, by either turning to teaching people, acting as bodyguards, or indeed bandits. Now, what distinguishes me as a Ronin as opposed from a samurai is that when I actually, later on in the fights, I bring out the katana, which I'm not going to do this yet, I've only got the one sword. Once you get to the late 16th century, it became the common practice for samurai who were in service to wear two swords, a long and a short. And they used to use them both at the same time, one in the left hand, one in the right hand, an idea they copied, funny enough, from the Europeans. But me, I'm just a low-down, scungy, sort of bar-brawling Ronin who's a bit of fun. What? Some people know me just far too well. Right, okay. The other clue to the fact that I'm not a samurai, funny enough, is my haircut. The Japanese, when you see samurai, always show me this particular haircut where they have the top of the head shaved, they're clean shaven, not occasionally a small beard. The Ronin used to let it all go often, and they'd have shaggy hair, or occasionally completely, shave their heads and all sorts of things. Right, villainous bunch. So not everything you read about the samurai is quite true. A lot of myths crept in, particularly in Western culture. The Japanese were great even back then at exporting mythology and technology to us. Like a lot of the Japanese armours that we see in the West are in fact massively tarted up for our benefit, not for theirs. Meanwhile, I think I'm going to kill somebody. Who wants to die? Threatening, okay, yeah, I'm going to do well. Actually, no, I'd like to fight one first. Daggers, sword dagger? Okay. Oh God. Another cheer, please, to boost my confidence. Can I have a boo for him? You know who your friends are. Thanks, guys. Checks in the post. Right. Okay. Let me get a mop. Doesn't feel like I'm going to be needing it after. Okay. Ready? Okay, right. Oh, rats. I'm carefully not talking to the audience. The last time I did this, it got me killed. Oh dear. He's got a leaky leg. By the way, if I can hit him a second time on that leg, he falls over. He's dead. He's as good as his upshot. Flesh wounds are basically hits that don't correctly land. You either just skip over the clothing or are incorrectly launched. Sorry, but moves it up. Better eyes, you know. Yeah, thank you. I need a longer sword. Bye bye. Somebody asked me would I kill was it down here at the front to kill some teeth in? Thank you. Said to me at the beginning. I hope you kill someone this time.
Me.
Was that good enough?
That was pretty good.
Fine, not
I had a scarf, you could wear it for that.
I'd rather have you much.
Got any of that either.
Right. Mary?
Yeah.
Want to come in?
Yeah, well. Can I bring the articles?
Only if I can choose up too.
I could have saw.
Yeah, it doesn't always work for him, does it? Second film, there you go. Do you want to do sword dagger or? No? Let's go sword dagger. Okay, ready? Trouble is, this one's got a mean eye, mean disposition.
Go on, get this scum.
No way. Oh, rats! Spare leg over sale. Only cheap. Only used it once. One careless leg. Don't come in comments, please. No way.
Once? Okay. Twice? No way.
Nearly got through. Sucker bait. Oh! Jasper, I'll be along in a moment.
How long does it take somebody to bleed to death?
12 hours, we've only got how long, Gary?
Half an hour?
There you go, kill me.
This is where it gets difficult. I've still got both weapons.
It's only half a body.
Unfortunately, it's the right guy for wielding not.
Right, how about a single sword? You check. Now, in many ways, using the single sword by itself is actually more difficult than using two weapons. Not because of the intrinsic complications of using the weapon, because in practice we teach sword and dagger at what we call fourth level, which is a long way down the line, because you're trying to coordinate two sets of rather dangerous implements at the same time as trying to kill your opponent. It's even worse because there's more enemy than you are. Now, the reason... Absolutely. Using the sword by itself means you've only got one means of attack, one means of defence, which means you have to work harder to get your kill, particularly when you get reasonably matched opponents. And these two are beginning to get to a point where he's getting better and she's sort of like pretty high up, and consequently, oh dear, this is in blood. Right, in your own time, ladies and gentlemen, please kill each other. With the delight of our viewers. You may give yourselves a round of applause for that. Relax, fine. The audience hates itself, eh? You've been at this con way too long.
As long as us.
Well, there's no saving some people. Right. All the strokes that they're doing, the positions in which they're launching the attack, are set piece. It tells the other person what quality of blow is going in. Now, against unarmoured opponents, the only advantage of what's referred to as long strokes is that the opponent is not allowed to block them. Or if they do, they take a consequential wound in the arm that blocks the weapon. This basically means... She likes, her favourite hobby is to chop every limb off. Away. She's the heart of a little child. Worry not, Jasper, I shall avenge thee.
Could we negotiate?
Yes, how much are you going not to pay me? I'm indulging in negative thinking, you see, straight from the beginning.
You're trying to confuse her, aren't you?
That's it. Get the advantage while you're going good. Right, getting destructive.
Yeah.
Off you go. Now, shall I get the dagger?
Yes.
By popular demand.
Yes.
Now you're getting the idea.
Mary, every time we see you two fight, you have a tendency to kill him. You haven't even the odds to make it fair
Thank you,
fight
thank you,
this time.
thank you.
You haven't got a hand at this, have you?
I know you're going to beat him anyway, but at least...
Oh. I am deeply touched. So are you.
Confidence.
When you're not got a morale over here.
I can't see my morals in my boots, my straw sandals are over there. Actually, even saying that, it probably is over there. Can I have my morale back, please? Right. Okay. Ready to die, bitch.
I'm just stepping out for a moment.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Cowardice is not going to win this one for me, is it?
Okay. Ready? Okay. Fight on. Oh, rats. I thought I'd just got it a few inches high. Now, if I'd done that, she'd be falling over game guns. However, she's not. Methinks your vengeance can wait till later. It's no robbery. I made about 2 hits in the same limb. Bye bye. I noticed you tapping on the floor so I got on your first diamond. Right. Right. Okay, a brief interlude while we get our breaths back, otherwise we'll collapse into a heap of jelly. I quite like the use of a heap of jelly, but there we go. Right, we get it. Right. What?
Do you want to hand him sword?
Yes, I think that's what we're doing. Good idea. Right. What I'm going to do is we're going to pass around some of the hardware now. Please do not engage in mortal combat with one another. That's to spoil the decor of this nice hotel. Besides, I need rust on my sword. Right. Okay. If you want to grab some of the hardware, small tools. There's 3 of them. Now, we're passing these swords. Are the basic European ones that the school uses to teach you. We've got a match set for 4. One of them is currently away having a scabbard done at the moment. Right, okay. Just keep them sort of vertically polarised and just sort of pass them around. Now, the weight of these things, who here saw the Excalibur?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things that Cliff mentioned basically was the weight of the swords. So he stole my favourite gag, which is, I can't continue thinking a sword weighs 2 tons. So you know, what we had, when I've asked the question, how much do you think a sword weighs? How many people didn't see the Excalibur demonstration last night? Keep your hands up. Not even. Right, okay. In that case, I'll tell you. What it is a sword of this proportion generally weighs between 2 and 3 pounds. To give you an idea of people's misconceptions about this, I've had everything from 10 to 55 pounds for a sword of this size. So, just to give you an idea of people's misconceptions. These ones weigh 2 3/4. They're slightly heavier than average. That's because they're teaching implements. Consequently, my students get a little carried away. What they've seen our movies. You say, no. After a while, we get angry. But the other thing is that they don't require as much TLC as we call a private purchase weapon. Now, private purchase weapons tend to be a lot lighter and require a little bit more care. When you've paid several £100s for your own sword, you tend to give it that care. Don't you suddenly see this thing rusting, materialising before your eyes. Okay. The fuller. Right. These particular swords are what are called diamond sections. It was a style that came into fashion, as I say, in the middle of the 13th century and carried right on into the 17th. You'll find blades of this format on rapiers and everything. The fuller that's in the blade, it doesn't appear on all swords. I mean, some swords, and we've got one here. Yes, it can do. Right, I'll pass this one around momentarily. This is your typical reenactment style sword. Excalibur has moved on from things like this. They're moving on to quite nice lightweight swords of realistic proportions, which is jolly damn fine. It's glad that somebody's doing it. But this thing is a brick. It's a brick that resembles a sword. However, you can notice that the one thing that we tried to do with this when we had this made about 10 years ago is to make it look like a particular kind of sword called a Type 20, which is a basically flat blade with sharp edges, of course, but it has 3 little fullers on the top, which do reduce some of the weight. They're mainly, in this case, decorative. If you really want to reduce the weight, you have to take put a big fuller in. Japanese swords tend to have sometimes have what they call a B or a fuller running on the top edge, which is quite deep and broad. I'll be showing one of those later, but that's a comment later. Meanwhile, show this. Let me guys pass this one around. It's got the typical 3mm thick edge. You know, basically, if you're fighting in the style where you go clang, 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 you wind up with this thing that looks like a sword tooth. You know, hey, coming into battle with actually not sword, great, right? More of a hazard to the user than it is to the enemy. But for sporting combat, something like that will rip clothes, rip flesh, even with the gentlest of blows. The usual solutions to that in combat is either to have a sword that's got a big thick edge like that, which won't nick so much, or to have one that's got an incredibly hard edge, or at the other extreme, at the other extreme, you've got something like this. I'd rather sword. This is what a number of people are using for what we call live role play, which is basically just reenactment or living history done in a different way. But this is the other solution. And I'll pass this one around. This is my own one. I bought it actually in a battle that's held once a year. It's called the Gathering. 3,000 people all called board, you're kicking the crap out of each other for 5 days. It's quite impressive. So, that's basically hardware. With our style of fighting, we can use weapons that have got much finer edges, therefore are much lighter, and therefore more realistic. Meanwhile, that's the fun of doing into that. Okay. Well, actually, why don't you just that's one? Yeah, sort of like that. What we're going to do now is Marion and Jeffrey are about to indulge in a little sword and buckler fight. Now, bucklers were immensely popular from about 1300 right through to 1620, when they sort of went out of fashion. As much because handguns started to get really dreadfully reliable. You could carry pistols and shot each other. Yeah, there are certain things that Now, the buckler, hold it up. A iron shield. This is a nice lightweight old cheapo one, so it's a cheap edition. I can't afford the nice expensive ones yet. In reality, this is not only has a defensive function, it also has an offensive function. Demonstrate. Needless to say, you're going to do this. The other one is, ouch. And Jasper, he likes to let people just examine the edge on yours. You look at this. Look at that edge. Imagine getting that bear in mind this weighs more than the swords that you're holding. The one that this is modelled on weighs 4.5 pounds. And it's 4 inches wider. But it's used in the same technique. It will deliver a fearsome injury to your opponent. Needless to say, we don't do that. We're still here, we still got our noses. Amongst other things, yes. Groins, boobs. Oh, by the way, for any women here who fancy actually doing this, one of the advantages of being female, most people say, oh, yeah, but I'm female, I'm short, I'm not strong enough. Well, the thing about strength is a load of bullshit.
I was playing with this one.
What's the word? It's the wrong thing to say to a reply to. Right. Right.
Short women.
Oh, short women. Right, thank you. I didn't say it, she did. Don't blame me. Right. The advantage for women is that, okay, they lose on reach because they tend to have this and however, this makes them overall a small target. However, what makes them more of a small target is that it's illegal for us males to use the breast as a target area. For those males,
We can't whack you in the groin.
we can't whack you in the groin either, but you can whack us in the chest. However, for those males amongst you who don't quite understand why that is, being hit hard in the breasts is like being booted hard in the groin. Tells you everything you need to know. Now, one of the things you will notice is that butlers everywhere but because it's a real brawling style. People are letting the fight give ground. Use the butler for both blocking and parrying. The difference between a block and a parry is block is using a weapon or a butler to actually intercept and stop the opponent's attack. A parry is the redirection of an opponent's attack. It's combined always with an evasive action, like stepping back. And it can make the difference between a hit and a miss. So people will step back and automatically parry sometimes. That, if it's done automatically, can be a mistake. Because it opens you up. Your opponent takes advantage of it. And there it is, not on the side. Me. Has anybody got any questions while you're watching these two sorts of stuff?
In all the books you read about sword fighting and all that, you've got ones that say they look at the sword, they look at the eye, they look at the chest, they look at the legs. Which part of the book do you actually look at to see where it's coming from?
None of them.
Right.
Okay. What you do
Yes, I know.
is you have to look
I was wondering this one that was up on the
you take in
display.
the whole image,
Yeah, it's,
not just what's in front of you or what's on your peripheral. Because
this I can relate.
at the same time,
Most
if you focus on any particular aspect of your opponent, your opponent will register. I mean, there are all sorts of nasty tricks that people will do.
core
They will move their blades seductively in front of you, making you fixate on the
take a
sword.
couple of walks.
No, bad mistake. They stare longingly and lovingly into your eyes. Don't look.
More than slightly.
Bad mistake.
The balance is pretty bad.
Likewise, anything else that will cause you to be distracted and to break your concentration will cause you to crash. You take in, you look, the whole thing. Mary's not just looking at Jasper, she's taking everything, as much as she can see. So if I sneak up behind her, notice as you move around the other side. It means that you're less likely to be caught out. All this stuff about sort of eyes, because the eyes are deceptive. For example, if Jasper wanted to con Mary into believing that he was going in a certain direction, he would stare lovingly at her right leg or something. And Mary would think, oh my God, he's going for my right leg. And then he'd chop her other leg off, or her arm, or something else. And that's part of the deception activity everybody's been doing. Right.
I'll tell him you said
I'm not going to say it.
Right. Now, just to complete this, the next weapon I'm going to pull out is my nasty chocolate. Well, sorry. He's not. I'll get my sword out instead. Right. Thank you. The style of fighting that you're seeing was evolved for conducting effectively live role-playing steel weapons. That's why we needed it. This was a very long time ago, but the other problem we had is that at the time, buying protective armour was like trying to buy a rocking horse shit. It was impossible. And you either had to buy it or you had to make it yourself. Now, making good protective armour isn't easy, as many people may know here who tried. So, the system that we've devised, it's called the Wayland Fight System, WFS. It is basically a software solution to a hardware absence. So you may notice that myself and Jackson, for example, are wearing absolutely no protective armour at all, apart from gloves. The only thing that we insist that you wear when you're actually, once you've passed your training, is gloves. Although we do recommend head protection. So it basically means that we have to be very highly trained, as you can possibly appreciate, so that we don't actually kill each other, but we just have fun, as you can see. Where's the sword?
Or katana.
This is mine. Now, all the other swords that you've seen so far are basically the school's own pleasure. This one is my own personal weapon. The blade was made in this country. The hilt, the scabbard, and all the fittings, apart from a couple of small minor parts, were imported from Japan. That's close to the real things you're going to get without it actually being sharp. It is not sharp, it is very blade bottom. Right. Okay. Now, a couple of things I'll show you. You can see that the point is rounded. It's designed to be totally smooth so it won't catch. If you look at the real thing, they have a cute chisel-like point. Very, very dangerous. For our purposes, totally unusable. The edge. I'm bleeding. No, I'm not. Again, like all the others, totally blunt. However, this handles just like the real thing. Exactly like the real thing. Needless to say, the style of fighting that we use is what we call a generic fighting system. I will use this in precisely the same way as we use those. No difference. No concessions, nothing. It's used precisely the same way. So, what's the day?
How about a three-way?
So again,
How about a three-way?
oh, vicious bastard. There's only one thing I forgot to mention about this sword. It's an inch and a half shorter than theirs. That's the first time she's ever said that. This is called a katana. It's actually, most people pronounce it katana, but that's the Western pronounce, English pronunciation. The Japanese would say katana. You say it a lot faster than I do. I'm learning Japanese at the moment for my sin. But as I say, this is the typical weapon that the samurai. This is the long sword of the so-called daisho, the long, short pair of weapons. This one is a 29.5-inch blade. The blade is measured actually from the beginnings of copper quality. But they range from quite dinky little things about so long, called tanto, to medium-sized things called fightsashi, short companion swords, to bloody great enormous things called nodachi, which are carried across the back. Now, for those of you who've seen all these pictures of people carrying swords on their backs, right, historically, it's a load of old doodling about, aha, I have my sword, ha-ha! Because, please imagine this for a second. Marriage, you can hold this. I'd like to ask you for support to push my back, as though it's position there. Okay, there is my sword. Aha! The enemy are sighted! Can you hold on to illegal. Oh, bugger. Okay. The thing about carrying swords across the back, the so-called ninja, or shinobi, so-called, big fragments of Japanese culture, which is more myth than fact. Yes, they did carry their swords across their back, but they carried them like a rifle, with the cord being used to sling, just because it was convenient and got it out of the way for climbing walls and that. As soon as they got inside, it was off with the bloody sword trade, right, okay, we're these nasty samurai characters. No way. You don't draw it from your back. Even the big Nadachi swords, which are carried across the back, were carried like that for transport purposes or when you were moving. When you got to your objective or the enemy was sighted, there was a toggle or a tie just here, which you undo, you take the sword off and draw it out, and you think, ah, the enemy are coming. The scabbards a bit of a pain in the ass, throw it away. Or in fact, put it back in your back if you would really get attached. Okay, meanwhile, I'm going to be killed by Mary and Jasper. Right. Okay. Any other questions about this before I die? No? Right. I presume it's going to be useful to me. It's the East versus West. Circular treachery. Right. A circular treachery, ladies and gentlemen, is everybody for themselves. Oh, you wanted 2-on-1, didn't you? No.
Anyone for 2-on-1?
Well, I'll tell you what, just to start with, how do you fancy about volunteering or something?
Yes!
Go on. And there, go on. And come on. And here.
See how you really are, Norman.
Was nice to meet you.
Would you prefer to die by a European sword or by a Japanese sword? European. Okay, good choice. Have you written a will?
Yes. Good. You're not mentioned.
Fine. Have you got any money?
Not on me.
In that case, it doesn't matter. Right, all I actually want you to do is face the orders. Everybody see it? Come on, you must trust me. I've got a sword. No. Well, I suggest you put your hands on your head. Or your hands on your head. See, that's trust me. Right, can you guys...
You don't want to get hit by the spray in the
It's alright, it's okay, it's blunt.
Just prime the sprinkler systems.
Keep your eyes open. Ready? Mm-hmm. Hope you have a good breakfast. You still got it, you know. One more time? Mm-hmm. I'm enjoying this. Feel the contact?
Yeah, how hard was it? Okay, good.
Thank you. By way of a reward for Norman, yes, these two can beat me up. Right. Okay. East versus West. Then a circular treachery, yes. I must admit. Trust me, you're a European. Yeah. Right, okay.
Dean,
Yes?
the last one.
Right. Look,
That's ready until we can make it. Is that alright?
can we do one more after this?
You're going to kill them quickly, yeah.
Okay. Believe it or not, Europeans did wind up having punch-ups with Japanese and vice versa. It did happen. And some of them were quite nasty brawls involving large numbers of people, like several hundred at a time on each side. So, you know, all this stuff about the Europeans and Japanese getting on really well. Bullshit. Okay, meanwhile, back in the Eastern Front.
Ready?
Okay, okay. Oh, right! Quick enough for you, Gary? Oh, no, you're okay, fine. Hmm? You've seen my song. Let's go for it. Jasper, if you want to use your butler or a dagger, it's entirely your choice. Taking all the advantages we get. Okay. If anybody wants to talk about this a bit further after, I will be in the model room shortly, probably after that in the bar, recovering. Right.
Rule 1, if it's not on the programme, it's in the bar.
Rule 2, it's in the bar.
If it's not, what is in the bar?
Rule 3, refer to Rule 1. Rule 4, this is Rule 4. Right, okay, let's go through all that.
Are there any sides in this box?
No. Everybody. Hang on, hang on.
Front side and back side.
Oh dear. We're dropping into position. Poor old Jasper is in a shit sandwich. Yes, which is his pleasure.
Nothing you better.
I'm ready.
Ready.
Fine. Hi, Jasper. Fall down since I'll be in the way. Old age and treachery will win through. I've got plenty of those. Here. You're right.
That's right.
It's funny, you know, we just... Where's the Buddha when you need him? Yeah!